Hello and welcome to MaxPreps.com. I am Chris Stonebraker. That is Zack Poff. Lower third says so. Today, we give you the 2016-17 high school basketball preview show. And with doing so, we're going to get Jason Hickman, the national basketball editor.
Nobody wants to hear us.
To come in because he knows a lot more about this topic than both of us. So we'll be having him join us. Oh, actually, there he is.
Whoa.
We got him in earlier.
What's good, Jay?
Thanks for having me on, guys. Love talking hoops. Let's get to it.
Boom. That easy. Now, hey, Jay, you know, I know you might not lace the sneakers up as much as you used to back in the day, but I know you're going to bring the heat. Now, lace up the sneakers and tell the people kind of, we got a little different things going on in the rankings this year. We got a top 25 and an independent. Just kind of break down the difference between the two, man.
Yeah, well, this discrepancy has really been widening over the last 5 to 10 years or so. Let me just throw a couple facts at you here. While researching our preseason rankings, these 10 teams that we're going to discuss as part of our independent top 10, on those rosters, there are 60 players from outside the United States. Over 90% of the players on these rosters come from outside the state where their school is physically located. So I just think at this point, these independent schools who have really no restrictions when it comes to practicing or acquiring talent, it's really unfair to hold them alongside your more traditional high schools. Now, at the same time, I don't want this to come across as some kind of scarlet letter for these schools. This may very well be the future for top prospects in the United States. This is kind of going more the European model, going the academy route, and we plan to give these teams the same level of attention and coverage as your traditional high schools throughout the course of the season.
Thank you for that explanation. Yeah. You did it perfectly, way better than I could have done.
And way better than me too.
And I also want everyone to know we will actually have a composite rankings as well here on MaxPreps.com that does rank all the teams into one. So we will this year have the high school basketball top 25 of teams that can win a high school basketball championship, the independent, which as Jason just explained, 10 teams we will have, independent schools.
And then we'll have the one with them all mixed together.
Then we'll have them all mixed together with the composite.
But you know what people care about right now is the independent top 10. Jay, who's the top dog? Who you got?
Well, I love the Lakers, the Lumiere Lakers.
Not the Los Angeles Lakers, right?
Correct. I do not like the Los Angeles Lakers. Lumiere is a team that I like a lot. Gotta love their personnel when you talk about Brian Bowen and Tiger Campbell and the new additions, Jaren Jackson and Jordan Poole from Milwaukee. I love also the psychological factor for this team last year. They went 27-4, got all the way to the championship game at Dick's Nationals, where they came up short in overtime against Oak Hill Academy. You got to think that that's something that stung them throughout the offseason and most likely motivated them coming into 2016-17.
Well, when you talk about the independent teams out there, you look at Lumiere at number one, but of course, I want to talk about the other teams, teams maybe outside of even the top five.
You're always about those Cinderella stories.
I like Cinderellas. You know, I was always an underdog and still am, and never actually made it anywhere else.
It's okay. It's okay.
So
buddy.
let's talk about teams outside the top five that might have a chance at the Lakers' top spot.
Well, I'm going to step way out on a limb here, Chris, and go with number 6, the Finley Pilots of Henderson, Nevada. Obviously, it's a little strange to put Finley Prep in the Cinderella category. I'm not sure that totally applies, but the red flags there over the offseason were the fact that they're now on their 5th head coach in the last 6 years. Paul Washington Sr. is the new head coach. He's the father of PJ Washington. And quite frankly, I just wasn't really sure how the program would respond. Of course, Gary Trent was supposed to be part of this program, but when the coaching change occurred, he elected to go to Prolific Prep. But some positive signs for Finley Prep. They beat defending champion Chino Hills over the weekend in a fall league tournament. And PJ Washington, strong buzz on him over the summer. I think he's really the kind of guy that can be incredibly productive, and they can just kind of build around and win a lot of games this season.
Yeah, hey, that boy PJ, he's a beast.
Yeah, who does he remind you of? Does that make sense?
I'll let you do this one.
Okay, Jason, do you think he reminds you of a guy that's going to be playing at Michigan State this year? Played last year for Huntington.
Miles Bridges.
Yes. No, yes, maybe so.
There, you got me. You know what? I don't know if I love that comparison.
Okay.
I think in terms of impact, I think there's definitely some equivalency there. I don't know. I see Miles Bridges as a little bit more of a wing forward type, whereas PJ Washington, yeah, I mean he can knock it down from all over the court, but I like him as more of a true forward.
Okay.
Not a bad comparison. I don't know if that's the first name that would come to mind.
I got one.
I just thought of it just because of the impact. It seems like with Finley Prep, he's going to have a big, strong hold on being the man there, kind of like Miles Bridges last year.
Now, Jason brought up the Lakers.
Yeah.
And a guy that plays for the LA Lakers, I see a little bit.
Who?
Julius Randle.
Julius just puts his head down. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
They're tough.
Yeah.
They're bruisers. They get where they want on the floor. But no one cares about that.
No one cares.
Jay, give us a date or an event, man, that's going to, have some huge national title implications. What we got, baby?
Yeah, well, again, there's so many. You should check out our story, top tournaments and events. Google that, and you'll find a list of almost 100 top high school basketball tournaments and events coming up this season. But one that I really like from an independent top 10 perspective, look for early February, kind of a rejuvenated event that LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and DeJuan Wagner kind of helped make famous in the early 2000s. It's taken a little bit of a slide or a downturn maybe within the last 5 years, but this year the schedule is big time. The primetime shootout in New Jersey. You're going to have Oak Hill Academy, who's number 2 on our preseason list, going against number 7 St. Benedict's Prep. Also, Montverde Academy will be in action there. Key matchup against Roselle Catholic, powerhouse in New Jersey. Love the lineup there. Love that event is back amongst the big time. And given the timing of the event there in early February, has a chance to really have some major national championship implications.
Wow, Billy Preston transferring to Oak Hill is a big transfer. That boy could play the guard position all the way down to the center position. That's a game changer.
Watching him go one-on-one with Trey Duvall in Vegas, those boys compete. That was fun to watch, and they're getting a straight baller in Billy P. Hey, let's bring up the independent top 10.
I want to bring it up because we need
People want to know.
Unveil the top 10. Oh, look at that graphic. Great stuff. The MaxPreps Independent Top 10, as you see it right here on the high school basketball preview show. This is the first time you will see this. Read underneath the article as well if you're on MaxPreps watching this, or if you're on Facebook Live, click off of Facebook Live, go to MaxPreps and see this entire article. La Lumiere, you have a lot of teams that you've just seen over the years.
Tiger Campbell is nice.
Very nice. You know what team that is kind of standing out to me, because I can talk about all the others. Two
Olympic
teams.
Prep.
Wasatch.
What's
Hamilton Heights. Those two. The other teams I understand, and Mission Viejo, Mountain Mission as well. Sorry about that, Mountain Mission, for saying that. But those three teams, you don't see them a lot of the times in the independent top 10s, but having a Hamilton Heights at number 5, that's a big time put for Hamilton Heights to be up there above Finley Prep.
And Jay, you got Montverde at 3. They lost a couple of key transfers, but Coach Boyle usually has his boys playing at a high level. What do you kind of expect from Montverde this year? Kind of throw a little curveball your way.
Yeah, love talking Montverde. They're always one of the top teams in the nation. It's kind of funny to say that it was a down year at Montverde last year because they finished in the top 10 nationally. But when you don't win the national title at Montverde, you're coming up short of expectations. Last year, I thought the problem with them, and I said this all last year, but they had so many good big guys that they were trying to find a place for all those guys to get on the floor. And the truth of the matter is that the vintage Kevin Boyle teams, going all the way back to his days at St. Patrick in New Jersey, were always led from the backcourt. Yeah. And that will be the case with this year's team. They're probably a year away, to be honest. But I definitely think that Boyle probably likes his personnel this year a little bit more than he did a year ago.
Yeah, and it's really, if you think about Montverde, it's going to be first of all, it's hard to replace a guy like Ben Simmons.
And before that, it was my guy D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, and then you think about Boyle's team's back, and he had
Kyrie, right?
Kyrie.
He was all right.
Which was all right. And
he
Michael
played better than Steph Curry
Kidd-Gilchrist
in the finals, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist was very good, and he wasn't a true big man, to your point as well. He was more of that small forward guard.
Does a little bit of everything.
Does a little bit of everything. So, and you can see that now when he's in the NBA. He's just doing a little bit of everything. So, appreciate the intake on that one, and we always enjoy having you here, Jason Hickman, on the show, and your knowledge is second to none in the high school basketball space. So
thanks for having me, guys.
All right. Well, that's Jason Hickman. I'm Chris Stonebraker.
The mustache.
This is Zack Poff. It's November. Get the mustache growing.
Book it.
And keep clicking on to MaxPreps.com, America's source for high school sports.